The golden facade Olivia Bennet tucked a strand of chestnut hair behind her ear as she administered medication to her elderly patient. Working night shifts at Westlake Community Hospital wasn't glamorous, but nursing gave her purpose. At 30, she'd built a life defined by compassion rather than ambition. "You're an angel." "Dear," Mrs. Watkins murmured, patting Olivia's hand with paper-thin fingers. "Just doing my job," Olivia smiled, adjusting the woman's blanket. She never expected her life to change the night Vincent Mercer was rushed into the ER after a minor car accident. The technology mogul was notorious in Silicon Valley. His company, Mercer Innovations, had revolutionized surveillance systems worldwide. At 38, his net worth exceeded billions. But it was his genuine smile that caught Olivia's attention as she checked his vitals. "Concussion protocol means no phone for at least 6 hours, she informed him, confiscating the device despite his protests. "You might be the first person who's ever said no to me," he remarked, more intrigued than offended. "Well, Mr. Mercer, head injuries don't care about your bank account." Their unlikely connection blossomed over the next months. Vincent pursued her with the same determination that built his empire, sending modest bouquets to her apartment rather than extravagant arrangements, remembering her fondness for chai lattes, listening to her stories about patients with genuine interest. "You see people for who they really are," he told her one evening as they walked along the bay. "Do you know how rare that is in my world?" When he proposed 6 months later beneath a canopy of cherry blossoms in Japan, Olivia believed she'd found something authentic in a man who could have anything. The wedding was intimate by Billionaire standards. Only 200 guests at Vincent's Napa Valley estate. Olivia's parents, both teachers from Oregon, looked somewhat overwhelmed but proud as their daughter married into a world they barely comprehended. "I'll always protect what we have," Vincent promised in his vows. "What we have is real." For the first year, Olivia believed him. She continued nursing part-time despite Vincent's insistence she didn't need to work. She established a charitable foundation funding medical care for underserved communities, channeling Vincent's resources toward meaningful change. The cracks appeared gradually. Board meetings kept Vincent working late. Galas and investor dinners populated their calendar. His circle of elite friends, particularly Camilla Thornton, his sleek, sophisticated business partner, seemed determined to remind Olivia of her ordinary origins. "Darling, you simply must let me introduce you to my stylist," Camilla would say, her smile never reaching her ice-blue eyes. "That neckline doesn't quite flatter your changing figure." When Olivia discovered she was pregnant, she hoped it would bring them back to the foundation they'd built. Vincent seemed genuinely overjoyed, converting an entire wing of their Pacific Heights mansion into a nursery filled with sustainable wooden toys and hand-painted murals. "Our child will have everything," he promised, placing his hand on her growing belly. "But they'll have your heart. That's what matters most." Olivia wanted to believe him, but increasingly found herself alone at doctor's appointments while Vincent attended unmissable meetings. Camilla's presence grew more prominent, always at Vincent's side during corporate events, whispering in his ear, her hand lingering on his arm. "They have history," explained Jasmine, Vincent's executive assistant, during a rare candid moment. "Before you, everyone assumed they would eventually marry. Power couple and all that." The annual Mercer Foundation Gala approached as Olivia entered her second trimester. The event would gather San Francisco's wealthiest philanthropists, tech luminaries, and social elite beneath the crystal chandeliers of the Fairmont Hotel. "This matters. Live," Vincent emphasized as their driver navigated toward the venue. "These connections fund our entire philanthropic portfolio." Olivia nodded, smoothing the empire waist of her midnight blue gown, custom-made to accommodate her pregnancy. She understood the game by now. Smile, engage, represent the compassionate heart of the Mercer Empire. What she didn't understand yet was that tonight, every moment would be captured by the very security systems Vincent had built his fortune upon. And those unblinking electronic eyes would reveal truths that would shatter the golden facade of their perfect life forever. Fractured reflections, the Fairmont Hotel ballroom glittered with wealth and influence. Chandeliers cast diamond-like reflections across the gathering of San Francisco's elite as Olivia navigated the crowd, one hand resting protectively on her baby bump. She'd mastered the art of these events over the past year. Smile warmly, remember names, discuss charitable initiatives rather than stock portfolios. "Mrs. Mercer, you're absolutely glowing," remarked Senator Harrison, his wife nodding in agreement. "When are you due?" "Early September," Olivia replied, accepting a flute of sparkling water from a passing server. "We're keeping the gender a surprise." From across the room, she caught Vincent deep in conversation with investors, his tailored tuxedo accentuating the confident posture that had first attracted her. He was in his element here, commanding, charismatic, completely at home. Beside him stood Camilla in a crimson gown that clung like second skin. Her platinum hair swept into an elaborate updo that emphasized her diamond earrings, each worth more than Olivia's parents' home. Security cameras tracked movement throughout the venue, discreet black domes in the ceiling corners, a Mercer Innovations hallmark. Vincent had revolutionized the surveillance industry with systems that could capture high-definition footage while being nearly invisible to the casual observer. "Security shouldn't intrude on aesthetics," was the company slogan. Olivia was making her way toward the silent auction displays when Camilla intercepted her path, champagne glass dangling between manicured fingers. "Olivia, darling, that color is quite safe, isn't it?" Camilla's voice dripped with false sweetness, though perhaps that's appropriate. "Vincent mentioned you've been quite fatigued lately. Pregnancy does take such a toll on some women." "I'm feeling wonderful, actually," Olivia responded, maintaining her composure. "The Foundation's new maternal health initiative has been energizing." Camilla's smile tightened. "Yes, well, charity is a suitable occupation for a wife. Speaking of which, did Vincent mention our Tokyo expansion? We've been working late finalizing details. He's been absolutely essential to me." The emphasis on "to me" wasn't subtle. Camilla stepped closer, lowering her voice. "You know, before you came along, Vincent and I had an understanding about where the company and our relationship was headed. It's admirable how he's tried this conventional family route, but we both know what truly drives him." Olivia felt her heart rate quicken, but kept her expression neutral. "I should find my husband. If you'll excuse me." As she turned, Camilla reached out ostensibly to touch Olivia's arm, but instead deliberately bumped her elbow, causing Olivia's water to splash across the front of Camilla's expensive gown. "Oh!" Camilla exclaimed with theatrical volume, ensuring nearby heads turned. "My dress! I'm so sorry," Olivia immediately apologized, reaching for a napkin. "It was an accident." "Vincent!" Camilla called out, her voice carrying across the ballroom. "Your wife seems to be having a clumsy moment." Vincent appeared at Camilla's side with remarkable speed, his expression darkening as he assessed the situation. Nearby guests watched with poorly disguised interest as Camilla dramatically dabbed at her dress. "What happened?" Vincent demanded, his tone sharper than Olivia had ever heard in public. "It was an accident," Olivia explained quietly. She seems overwhelmed by these events," Camilla interjected. "Perhaps pregnancy hormones?" Something shifted in Vincent's eyes, a coldness Olivia had glimpsed during tough negotiations, but never directed at her. The security cameras above captured every micro-expression as he turned to his wife. "Can't you act with basic grace for one evening?" he said, voice low but perfectly audible to surrounding guests. "Do you understand who you embarrass when you behave like this? These people fund our entire operation." The ballroom seemed to freeze. Conversations halted. Olivia felt blood rush to her face, acutely aware of dozens of eyes watching this humiliation unfold. Her hand instinctively moved to protect her belly, as if shielding their child from witnessing this betrayal. "I see," she finally said, her voice steady despite the emotion threatening to overwhelm her. With quiet dignity that would later be remarked upon by witnesses, she simply turned and walked toward the exit, her midnight blue gown sweeping behind her. What she didn't see was Nathaniel Reed, the head of security for Mercer Innovations, watching the entire scene unfold both in person and through the multiple camera feeds in the security office. His expression remained professionally neutral, but something in his eyes reflected a decision being made. Olivia spent the night in the guest room of their mansion, messages from Vincent unread on her phone. By morning, her humiliation had transformed into something clearer and colder. The recognition that the man she married had vanished, if he had ever truly existed at all. She was packing a small suitcase when her phone began buzzing incessantly. Not with calls from Vincent, but notifications, news alerts, text messages from friends and family. The footage had leaked online. High definition, perfectly clear surveillance video showing not just Vincent's public dressing down, but the preceding minutes. Camilla deliberately maneuvering to isolate Olivia. The calculated bump, the self-satisfied smirk before she called Vincent over. The cameras had caught everything, including Vincent's expression of complicity as he approached. He had known exactly what he was walking into. Within hours, the clip went viral. Stand with Olivia began trending. Business publications questioned Vincent's character and judgment. Investors expressed concerns. The story was perfect fodder for public consumption. The pregnant nurse humiliated by her billionaire husband and his scheming associate. All captured by his own technology. Vincent called 17 times that day. Olivia answered on the 18th. Who leaked it? Was his first question, voice taut with barely controlled rage. That's what concerns you? Olivia replied. Not what you did. This could cost the company millions. Our stock is already down 7 points. The clinical coldness of his response cemented something in Olivia's heart. I'll be staying with my parents for a while. I need space to think about our future. If we have one. What neither of them realized yet was that Nathaniel Reed had made his decision the moment he witnessed Vincent's betrayal. As head of security, his access to the surveillance system was absolute. His moral compass, however, answered to something higher than a paycheck. In his modest apartment across the city, Nathaniel reviewed the footage again, ensuring he'd redacted any identifiers that could be traced back to him. He had never particularly liked Vincent Mercer, but had respected him as a visionary. That respect had evaporated in a single moment of cruelty. The truth matters, he murmured to himself as he sent the encrypted files to selected media outlets. Sometimes justice needs a little help. Digital witness. The cottage Olivia rented in Sausalito offered views of San Francisco Bay and, more importantly, privacy. 3 weeks had passed since the gala incident, and the media frenzy had only intensified. Vincent's public apology, clearly crafted by crisis management specialists, had been received with widespread skepticism. Mercer Innovations' stock continued its downward trajectory as major clients reconsidered partnerships with a company whose founder demonstrated such questionable character. Olivia sat on her small deck, watching ferries cross the water while absently stroking her growing belly. "We'll be okay, little one," she whispered. "Sometimes life gives us unexpected detours." Her phone chimed with a message from her mother. CNN covering the story again. "You okay?" She hadn't anticipated becoming a reluctant symbol. Women's groups praised her dignity. Workplace advocates cited the incident when discussing power dynamics. Several of Vincent's business rivals had even reached out with job offers for after her maternity leave. Some genuine, others transparently hoping to capitalize on the situation. The doorbell rang, interrupting her thoughts. Through the peephole, she saw a tall, broad-shouldered man with close-cropped dark hair standing on her porch, looking uncomfortable in business casual attire rather than his usual security uniform. "Mr. Reed?" she said, opening the door with surprise. "What are you doing here?" Nathaniel Reed shifted his weight, clearly uncomfortable. "May I come in, Mrs. Mercer? There's something I need to tell you." In her living room, Nathaniel declined coffee and came directly to the point. "I leaked the footage," he admitted, maintaining steady eye contact. "And I want you to know why." Olivia sank onto the sofa, stunned. "You risked your career." "Why would you do that?" "Because what happened that night was wrong," he said simply. "I've worked security for 15 years. I've witnessed countless powerful men behave badly behind closed doors. But what Mr. Mercer did, publicly humiliating his pregnant wife to appease someone like Camilla Thornton, crossed a line." "Vincent will destroy you if he finds out," Olivia whispered. Nathaniel's expression remained resolute. "Probably. But I've already resigned, and I made certain the leak can't be traced. He's investigating obsessively." He believes it was a corporate sabotage attempt. Let him think that. Nathaniel leaned forward. Mrs. Mercer, Olivia, the security system captured more than just that night. There's a pattern of behavior between your husband and Ms. Thornton that suggests their relationship isn't purely professional. I didn't include that in the leak because it wasn't my place, but you deserve to know. The confirmation of her suspicions felt like a physical blow. Olivia closed her eyes briefly, one hand protectively cradling her belly. "Thank you for your honesty," she finally said. "But why tell me you were responsible? You could have remained anonymous." "Because I'm offering to help," Nathaniel explained. "What happened to you resonated with a lot of people. My sister experienced workplace humiliation years ago. It destroyed her confidence, her career trajectory. There's power in what happened to you, in how you responded with dignity. You could help others." 2 days later, Olivia announced the formation of the Truth Lens Foundation, dedicated to supporting victims of public humiliation and workplace abuse. Her statement was simple but powerful. Modern technology means our worst moments can be captured and shared instantly. But sometimes those same cameras reveal deeper truths. I'm turning my experience into purpose. The foundation quickly gained momentum. Donations poured in, many anonymously, from women in positions similar to what Olivia's had been. Nathaniel, with his security expertise, volunteered to help victims protect their digital privacy and rebuild their online reputations. Meanwhile, Vincent's world continued unraveling. Board members questioned his judgment. A major government contract was suspended pending review. Camilla's role in the company faced increasing scrutiny as additional employees came forward with accounts of her manipulative behavior. Vincent appeared at Olivia's door unannounced one evening, looking haggard. The confident billionaire had been replaced by someone more human, more vulnerable. "Please come home," he said without preamble. "I'll do whatever it takes. Therapy, a public apology on your terms. Camilla's been removed from day-to-day operations." Olivia regarded him thoughtfully. "This isn't about Camilla, Vincent. It's about who you become when status and appearances matter more than basic decency. I can change," he insisted. "For you, for our child." "Perhaps you can," she acknowledged. "But not for us. Whatever happens next, I need to do it independently." As she closed the door, she felt something unexpected. Not satisfaction at his downfall, but a quiet certainty that she was making the right choice. The cameras had revealed one truth that night at the gala, but she was discovering a more important one. Her worth wasn't defined by Vincent Mercer's validation or protection. Across town, Nathaniel was reviewing security protocols for the Foundation's first public event when his phone rang, an anonymous number. "I know it was you," came Vincent's voice, cold and precise. "The metadata had your digital fingerprints all over it." Nathaniel didn't deny it. "Then you know why I did it." "You had no right." "Neither did you," Nathaniel interrupted. "She deserved better. So does your child." After a lengthy silence, Vincent spoke again. "I'm not finished, Reed. You'll regret crossing me." Nathaniel ended the call, unsurprised by the threat but unconcerned. Some principles were worth defending regardless of consequence. As he returned to his work, he found himself thinking about Olivia's quiet strength and the unexpected purpose they now shared. What neither of them anticipated was how quickly the foundation would grow, or how their professional collaboration would evolve into something neither was prepared for. Pixels of truth. 6 months after the gala incident, Olivia sat in the modest offices of the Truth Lens Foundation, reviewing applications for their legal assistance program. At 8 months pregnant, she found comfort in meaningful work. Helping others had always been her nature, first as a nurse and now as an advocate. The foundation had already assisted dozens of individuals whose private humiliations had become public spectacles, providing everything from legal support to media management. Nathaniel knocked on her open door, 2 cups of herbal tea in hand. "Thought you might need this. You've been reviewing files for hours." "Thanks." She accepted the tea gratefully. Their working relationship had developed into an easy friendship, built on shared purpose and mutual respect. Nathaniel's security expertise had proven invaluable, while Olivia's natural empathy provided the foundation's emotional compass. New client case, he said, placing a folder on her desk. Financial analyst whose boss berated her during a video conference. The recording went viral within her industry. Let's meet with her tomorrow, Olivia decided, wincing slightly as she shifted position. Nathaniel noticed immediately. Braxton Hicks again? She nodded, surprised by his attentiveness. The doctor says everything's normal, but this little one likes to remind me who's really in charge. The contrast between Nathaniel's quiet concern and Vincent's recent behavior wasn't lost on her. Though divorce proceedings had begun, Vincent alternated between conciliatory gestures, extravagant baby gifts, emotional appeals, and aggressive legal maneuvers designed to protect his assets and reputation. Camilla Thornton had been officially removed from Mercer Innovations, though industry rumors suggested she'd received a generous exit package in exchange for her silence. The company's stock had stabilized, but Vincent's personal reputation remained tarnished. His attempts to rewrite the narrative, portraying himself as a stressed executive who'd made a single regrettable mistake, gained little traction. We should discuss your security before the baby comes, Nathaniel said, interrupting her thoughts. Vincent's legal team requested your due date details. I'm concerned they're planning some kind of media strategy around the birth. Olivia sighed. He still doesn't understand that this isn't about publicity or image rehabilitation. Men like Vincent view everything as a transaction or strategic opportunity, Nathaniel observed. It's difficult for them to comprehend motivations that aren't tied to profit or power. Later that evening, as Nathaniel walked Olivia to her car, she found herself asking, "What made you different? You worked in Vincent's world for years without becoming part of it." Nathaniel considered the question seriously. "I witnessed too much. Security work gives you a unique perspective. You see how people behave when they think no one's watching. After a while, you develop a strong sense of who deserves your loyalty." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of a sleek black Bentley. Vincent emerged, his expression tightening at the sight of Nathaniel beside Olivia. "We need to talk," he said to Olivia, ignoring Nathaniel completely. "Privately." "Anything you need to say can be said through our attorneys," Olivia replied calmly. "This isn't about the divorce." Vincent's voice softened. "It's about our child." "Please, Liv!" After a moment's hesitation, Olivia nodded to Nathaniel. "It's okay. I'll call you later." Inside a nearby restaurant's private dining room, Vincent appeared more human than he had in months, less the corporate titan, more the man she'd once loved. "I've been in therapy," he began without preamble. "Individual sessions, group work with other executives. It's been illuminating." "I'm glad," Olivia said sincerely. "I didn't understand what I'd become," he continued. "The company, the status, they became my identity. I chose Camilla's approval over yours because she represented that world. I betrayed the one person who saw me as more than my bank account." Olivia remained silent, waiting. "I'm not asking for reconciliation," Vincent clarified. "But I am asking for a chance to be a father to our child. To demonstrate that I can be someone worthy of respect again, if not as your husband, then as your child's parent." For the first time, his words rang true, unscripted, unstrategic. Olivia felt a complex mixture of emotions, caution, lingering hurt, but also a recognition of genuine effort. "That would require consistent change," she finally said. "Not just words, I know. I'm prepared for that work." When Olivia returned home that evening, she found herself reflecting on forgiveness. Not the kind that erased consequences, but the kind that allowed for personal growth. Vincent's transformation appeared genuine, if incomplete. She could acknowledge that while maintaining her own boundaries, her phone chimed with a message from Nathaniel. "Just checking you're home safe." The simple text made her smile. Their relationship existed in an undefined space. More than colleagues, but cautiously navigating the territory beyond friendship. Nathaniel had never pressed for more, respectful of her complicated situation and pregnancy. 2 weeks later, Olivia went into labor 3 weeks early. Through the haze of contractions, she was vaguely aware of hospital staff preparing for delivery, of calling her parents, and of sending one additional text before surrendering her phone. Hours later, exhausted but exhilarated, she cradled her daughter, marveling at perfectly formed fingers and a determined little chin that reminded her of her own. The door opened quietly, and she looked up expecting a nurse. Instead, Nathaniel stood there, slightly out of breath, holding an improbably large teddy bear. "You came," she whispered. "You asked me to," he replied simply, approaching cautiously. "She's beautiful, Olivia." Like her mother, a nurse appeared behind him. "Mrs. Mercer, your husband is here." Olivia's gaze met Nathaniel's, an unspoken question in her eyes. "I'll give you privacy," he said, understanding immediately. Vincent entered as Nathaniel exited, the two men acknowledging each other with cautious nods. In that moment, seeing them side by side, Olivia understood with perfect clarity the choice that lay before her. Not today, perhaps not tomorrow, but eventually. One man represented her past, the other a possible future. Both were flawed, complex humans rather than fairy tale figures. The security cameras had captured one pivotal moment of truth, but the rest of the story remained unwritten, each frame yet to be recorded. Resolution in Focus 1. Year later, Olivia pushed her daughter's stroller through Golden Gate Park, enjoying the rare San Francisco sunshine. Elena Grace Bennett, named for Olivia's grandmother, with her maiden name restored, babbled happily, reaching for falling leaves with chubby fingers. "She's definitely got your curiosity," Nathaniel remarked, walking beside them. His hand occasionally brushed against Olivia's, the casual intimacy of a relationship that had evolved gradually, thoughtfully. "And your stubbornness," Olivia teased. "She spent 20 minutes this morning insisting on wearing those mismatched socks." Their laughter was interrupted by Olivia's phone. Checking the screen, she sighed. Vincent's assistant. "He's running late for tomorrow's visit." The past year had brought unexpected developments. The divorce had finalized without the anticipated acrimony, with Vincent surprising everyone by agreeing to Olivia's terms. He maintained consistent, scheduled visits with Elena, gradually earning Olivia's cautious trust as a co-parent, if not as a partner. Mercer Innovations had undergone significant restructuring. Vincent stepped down as CEO but remained on the board, focusing instead on technological ethics, specifically the responsible use of surveillance systems. His public redemption wasn't complete, but his efforts appeared genuine rather than strategic. The Truth Lens Foundation had expanded internationally, with Olivia serving as executive director and Nathaniel heading security operations. Their work had influenced privacy legislation and corporate accountability measures across multiple industries. "I received an interesting proposal today," Olivia mentioned as they settled on a bench, Elena contentedly exploring a plush toy. "Vincent wants to establish a joint initiative between Mercer Innovations and the Foundation, developing ethical guidelines for surveillance technology, with special focus on preventing public humiliation." Nathaniel raised an eyebrow. "Are you considering it?" "I am," she admitted. "A year ago, I couldn't have imagined working with him again in any capacity. But people can change when properly motivated. You gave him that motivation," Nathaniel observed. "Not by taking him back, but by showing him a different path forward." Later that evening, after putting Elena to bed in their modest but comfortable home, Olivia found Nathaniel on the back deck, gazing at the stars. "Penny for your thoughts," she said, wrapping her arms around him from behind. "I was just thinking about how differently things might have turned out," he replied, turning to face her. "If I hadn't leaked that footage? Or if Vincent hadn't humiliated me publicly," she added. "Or if Camilla hadn't orchestrated the confrontation." A series of terrible choices that somehow led to something good. Olivia considered this. "I think that's how most lives unfold. We rarely recognize the pivotal moments until we're past them." The following afternoon, Olivia met Vincent at a neutral location, a quiet cafe where Elena could play in the children's area while they talked. Vincent arrived punctually, his formerly imposing presence softened somehow. He still commanded attention, but the aggressive edge had diminished. After spending time with Elena, he joined Olivia at their table, expression thoughtful. "She looks more like you every time I see her," he observed. But she has your analytical mind, Olivia replied. She categorizes her blocks by color and size. A comfortable silence settled between them, not the intimacy of lovers, but the mutual respect of two people connected by a child they both adored. "I saw the announcement about you and Reed," Vincent finally said. Their engagement had made minor headlines in local papers, the foundation director and her security chief finding personal happiness amid their professional mission. "Are you happy for me?" Olivia asked directly. Vincent considered the question seriously. "I am," he answered, surprising himself with the truth of it. "He's a good man." "Better than I was." "Than you were," Olivia emphasized. "You're changing, Vincent. I see it every time you're with Elena." Fatherhood offers powerful perspective. He hesitated before continuing. "The foundation proposal, have you decided?" "I have. I think there's potential for meaningful collaboration with appropriate boundaries." As they discussed details, Olivia reflected on the strange path that had brought them here. The security cameras had captured a moment of betrayal, but they couldn't record what came after: the painful growth, the unexpected connections, the slow rebuilding of shattered trust into something different but valuable. That evening, as Nathaniel read Elena a bedtime story, his deep voice creating different characters with surprising theatrical talent, Olivia leaned against the doorframe, heart full. Later, when Nathaniel asked about her meeting with Vincent, she shared the developments honestly. Their relationship had been built on transparency, neither harbored illusions about perfect happiness or fairy tale endings. "Are you comfortable with me working with him?" she asked. "I trust your judgment," Nathaniel replied. "And I understand why it matters to you. Transforming a painful experience into something constructive, that's who you are." In their bedroom, Olivia paused before a framed photo, not of their engagement or Elena's birth, but a simple image of the foundation's first office, Olivia and Nathaniel standing beside the modest sign, both looking slightly overwhelmed but determined. "We've come so far," she murmured. "With much further to go," Nathaniel added, joining her. The security cameras that had once exposed truth now served a different purpose in their lives: protecting the foundation's clients, securing their home, preserving privacy rather than invading it. The technology itself was neutral. Its application made all the difference. As Olivia drifted towards sleep in Nathaniel's arms, she reflected on the strange symmetry of her journey. A billionaire had once promised to protect her, yet true security had come from building her own strength, from connections based on mutual respect rather than power imbalances. The last image in her mind before sleep claimed her wasn't of the gala's humiliation or the viral video that followed, but of Elena's tiny hand holding Nathaniel's finger while Vincent watched with genuine joy for his daughter. Three people forever connected, their complex history captured in countless digital fragments, but their future still unwritten, frame by frame, moment by moment, truth by hard-won truth.